adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Why so serious?
Can the Spider-Man come out to play?
Doesn't it feel great, yeah, to make a snide comment even when you know what you're doing might be a little questionable? No, seriously, forget the whole morality angle. Sometimes I feel like I'm trying too hard to be Superman when in reality I'm just a fully blown Homelander. In a non-murderous way, of course. I mean, it doesn't hurt to be a little arrogant now and then. Just make sure you don't end up shitting in your partner's bed, only to blame the dog later on. And of course, who knows better about savage flexes than our very own supervillains? That's right, today I'm turning over to the dark side and covering the best moments when supervillains flexed on superheroes.
As I was saying, I'm a woman and can't be taken for granted. Life's a bitch, now so am I.
Ah, feminism, you sneaky devil. We've all been told that it's always rude to strike a woman, and one man who took those words way too seriously for his own good was the one and only Bruce Wayne. The Michael Keaton version, of course. I don't think anyone's safe with Robert Pattinson and his weird eyeliner. Batman manages to come out on top in his battle against Catwoman, but then she plays the woman card, and the polite knight decides to be a gentleman about it. But yeah, as you'd expect, she bitch slaps him right after and delivers a savage line with it. It just goes to show that women have been abusive way before the time of Amber Turd. But hey, if I ever find myself in front of Michelle Pfeiffer in a latex catsuit, then I wouldn't mind a little spanking, if you know what I mean.
But a kiss can be even deadlier if you mean it.
Trained my entire life, master my sense. Where did you train? On a farm?
If there's one thing a villain loves to do, it's ridiculing his goody-good counterpart. I feel bad for poor Kal-El. The dude had to face a pretty tough assignment first up when he was put up against General Zod and his Kryptonian goth band. Of course, their fight scenes were on point, but I just love when Zod started gloating about his superior warrior genes in front of Superman. You'd imagine that Clark Kent doesn't really want to hear his opponent brag about random shit, and then Zod makes it even worse by making fun of the fact that Kal-El had to train on a farm. Bruh, that's a massive bird, and he didn't even need to use any laser eyes for it either. Maybe he did deserve to have his neck broken. I guess we'll just have to ask Andrew about that.
Don't do this. Okay, do it.
Don't get in my way.
We are the future, Charles, not them. They no longer matter.
Now that we're on the topic of supremacist leaders, it's hard to ignore the OG divider of the races, Magneto. Actually, this dude went a step further than race. He hated humans altogether. The sassy granddaddy never held back when it came to his attitude against a supposedly inferior species, and this one dialogue totally cemented that. He completely disregards humanity and openly declares his kind to be the future of the world. And of course, to say it to our very own Professor X is nothing short of overblown vanity. Man, he was totally giving Stormfront vibes here, and you could even say that he was the original inspiration for Homelander's twisted muse. But even despite the slightly disturbing Hitler vibes, you gotta give it to Eric for pulling off a speech so savage while he was also walking the talk at the same time. Well, at least Sir Ian McKellen is a darling in real life.
Still unwilling to make sacrifices. That's what makes you weak.
We have no quarrel with your people.
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
Damn, I'm starting to sense a pattern with these villains. Loki started off as a dude with vague motivation, so I'm kinda glad he's no longer a bad guy. Like, seriously, why would you want to suddenly rule the universe only after finding out that you were adopted? You could have easily gotten some help at the DC support group for orphaned superheroes. But yeah, you can't deny the god of mischief his due when it comes to his witty one-liners. Don't you remember this epic statement?
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
Now, this might be great screenwriting, but I wonder if the creators of Ant-Man would have had anything to say about it to the execs at Marvel later on. Also, it's one thing to come up with a classic line, and a whole other thing to look so good while you're saying it too. Hey, don't look at me like that. It's MCU canon now that Loki is bi. Not that it makes much of a difference to me.
You get how that works? Ant. Boot.
I am the one, the way your son don't need a gun to get me.
You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it.
Bane had everything in him to become a legendary icon whose popularity could even rival the likes of the Joker, but I guess we can't always get everything we want. Either way, he still managed a strong presence for a major part of the movie, and I absolutely love the first fight scene between him and Batman. Yeah, sure, poor Bruce gets his ass whooped, but it was Bane's constant taunting that really takes the cake. Think about it. He mocks the fact that Bruce only adopted the dark. It's kind of rough given how this character is literally called the Dark Knight. That's kind of rough given how the character is literally called the Dark Knight and is also an orphan. It's almost like a fish making fun of Aquaman for adopting the water, or trying to get down and dirty with his kind. But yeah, it takes a special kind of character to dominate the freaking Batman in a situation that should actually typically favor him. Unfortunately, he didn't get to develop the character much further, and Tom Hardy had so much sass left over that he had to carry on into Peaky Blinders.
My mother warned me about getting into cars with strange men.
This isn't a car.
Seriously?
You are nothing. A scavenger girl is no match for the power in me.
Look, even I wasn't a fan of the whole Darth Sidious gag in this movie, but you gotta admit it, the dude knows how to mock a hero. After brushing away Kylo Ren as if he's an unwanted cavity, Sidious proceeds to unleash his powers on Rey, but of course, she's equipped with reliable plot armor, so it doesn't kill her. I guess that must have pissed him off because he calls her a scavenger girl and goes berserk with the insults. Like, damn, he sounded like a rapper born in the Victorian era. It felt natural for the old Raisin to say something so sassy, and he could have even given birth to a new meme if Rey didn't wipe him out so effortlessly in the end. I guess this time, she was the one with the unlimited power.
Spider-Man! This is why only fools are heroes.
William Dafoe is a criminally underrated actor who's got some crazy flexibility for a guy his age. He's also played such a variety of characters that he puts even Snoop Dogg to shame. But of course, his most iconic role is and forever will be the legendary Green Goblin. Norman Osborn might be remembered by the scientist meme,
"You know, I'm something of a scientist myself."
but there's another line that's pretty badass. It's when he tries to recruit Spider-Man into his sinister team, and Peter replies with the typical, "No, I'm a good guy" rebuttal. That's enough for William Defriend to turn into William Dafoe, and he taunts the web slinger by saying only fools try to be heroes. Look, I'm not trying to justify his methods or anything, but he does have somewhat of a point, you know. I mean, being a hero is a pretty nasty business in today's world, and the payoff ain't even that great. Oops, I hope the feds ain't watching this.
But I'm offering you a choice. Me. Imagine what we could create.
Little Goblin Jr.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.
While growing up as a kid, you might have heard the line, "The student has now become the master." Now that's usually considered to be a motivational quote, but it takes on a whole new meaning in the OG Star Wars film. Darth Vader had become such a staple household name that he wasn't even looked at as the primary antagonist of that series. Anyway, he gets reacquainted with his old buddy Kenobi, and they kick off the first of what would become an epic series of lightsaber battles. Now, Anakin's obviously got to flex more than just his muscles, so he extends the sass to tell Obi-Wan that he was just a learner before, but now he's become the badass master that everyone knows him to be. Man, if I was battling him, I'd probably just quit out of respect for that line. I've got to say, they really don't make villains like this anymore. Sorry, Kylo Ren, you're way too much of a simp.
What is it, General?
My lord, the fleet has moved out of light speed. Comscan has detected an energy field. Comscan has detected an...
He comes at me with the knife. Why so serious?
Man, I relive this line almost every single day. Christopher Nolan must have been on some of that Compound V shit when he wrote the Joker, because damn, that dude's been the standard for well over a decade now. I can keep talking about Heath Ledger's phenomenal performance, but if there's one thing everyone associates with this character, it's his most memorable line.
Why so serious?
Bruh, I got literal chills down my spine when he first says it, because even the scene is so powerful. This moment gave way to countless memes, reenactments, and Halloween costumes, although some of them might not exactly qualify as homage material. Either way, this line was more than a flex. It was a cultural reset and forever changed the way comic book villains were portrayed to the public eye.
It's not about money. It's about sending a message. Everything burns.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
After all the praises I heaped on the Joker, you must be wondering why he isn't in the top spot. Well, that's because I'm covering flexes, and when it comes to that, nobody beats Big Daddy Thanos. The moment I'm talking about isn't even a proper movie scene. It appears after the credits in Age of Ultron, and the Purple Titan simply utters one confident line.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
Not only does this establish some much needed context into his role for future movies, the dude actually lives up to his words and indeed does it all by himself. Man, the only way I can relate to that line is when I cry about my love life. If you think about it, Thanos snapping his fingers was probably the most impactful handjob in the history of the universe.
Show me.
reality is often disappointing.
And there you go, that's how supervillains love to flex on superheroes. Like, share and subscribe to stay updated, and head over to the description for links to my socials, Discord and Patreon. Alright then, I'll see you next time on the TV Regent.